Hello, meet the iWatch. I'm not talking about the current stuff that's going on right now. I'm talking about the iWatch from 2010. That's right, this is an iWatch, which by the way, watch face and everything, if I can get it up in a sec, watch face and everything, that pretty much allows you to have an Apple Watch, but it's not an Apple Watch. So basically, if you don't know the backstory of this is an iPod Nano, I believe the 6th generation of the iPod Nano. Now you're going, well, why is this such a popular idea, thought, etc.? Well, keep in mind, back when this was released, this was kind of like a testing product. It was a really small device. Just let me get it out of the case for a sec. It was a really small device, and it had a clock feature on it. And a lot of these people went around and they started making these cases for them that turned it into a watch. And now keep in mind, the iPod Nano had a lot of cool little features. For example, number one, you had an earbud or an earphones port. You had a charging port. You had power up and down, and it was pretty much you could clip it on to anywhere. And it was a really small, durable device that, as you can guess, was really, really good at being a watch. It had a nice little watch face, and it was really small, had like 6 or 8 gigs of storage, and you pretty much could put it in like a case like this, and it would be indistinguishable from a watch, and it was way ahead of its time. Now keep in mind, this was 2010. Now, if you looked in any current videos or any current iPod Nanos, they've changed the look of it, and they changed the look actually right after this generation. This is the only iPod generation to actually be a small square that you can actually fit into a watch. So that makes you wonder, well, why did they go about, producing this design? Well, honestly, if you look at it, this became so popular as a smart watch before its time that they actually discontinued it and I believe started production on the iWatch. So technically, this is the iWatch Generation 0, which I think is actually pretty cool. So if you look at it, you've got a lot of cool little features. For example, you've got up and down, you can really go through and you basically just start swiping away. So basically you just swipe into your music, or swipe and you get rid of the clock face. And so you have a lot of options here. Number one, you have all the stuff that you'd expect on an iPod. You have a radio feature. You can do a lot of cool stuff with this. So for example, you've got a clock face that you can go through there and check it out. You've also got a fitness option, which really can show you how far you walk, run, etc. Basically, all the features you currently have on the iWatch. You even have photos. You can go through and check out your photos as well. And then you even got like all the other things that you'd expect on an iPod. You got podcasts, etc. And you can go through your settings, change different things, add Bluetooth. Bluetooth isn't in this. This is why one of those few things why it didn't sync up to your phone, which was a really disappointing feature. But keep in mind, this was in 2010. This was before we had any of the Apple Watch phases, before we had any smartwatches whatsoever. This was already released. This was a public device that people were out there using. Now obviously it looks like it's still running iOS 6, which is a disappointment as well, but it does have the option to customize clock faces. It does have the it doesn't allow you to raise to see the clock, but it does have a gyrometer in it, so you can see currently like how far it's raised and stuff, which would make sense if they wanted to add it on in the future. But they didn't update it. They kind of left it, and they didn't actually decide to keep it going because they would have actually been able to add that feature quite easily. I think had they added Bluetooth, this would have been practically identical to an Apple Watch today. I don't think there's a single thing different about this that makes it something that you couldn't actually obtain anywhere else. So that's pretty much just the whole look of things. And honestly, if they added Bluetooth into this, it would be absolutely awesome. We've got a little bit of a earbuds port, but after that you really do need a wired connection if you want to do anything with it other than use it as a watch, which I think from now on I might just use it because honestly the first gen Apple Watch I think is really cool because technically the first Apple Watch is not the first. This is Apple Watch Gen 0, which I think is a very cool fitting name for it. And honestly, they've done some really nice things with some iPod Nano cases, and I think that this is just one of them. This is what we actually used to have, and this is actually my iPod Nano from 2010, when I bought it. So that's why I really wanted to make today's videos, because everybody's talking about these cool Apple iWatches, but really this was the first gen. This was the very first Apple Watch out there, and I really want to just talk about it because it's really looks identical and it has a lot of the same features. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to ask any questions or anything cool like that. But I just thought it was really cool that you've got something that was so popular, and I guess now it's obsolete. And I want to just remind everybody that this is where the history started and this is where the Apple Watch came from. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Check out my channel for other cool tech-related news, videos, reviews, all that stuff. And goodbye.